It's no secret that basketball history is brimming with explosive performances. But what if someone told you there's a player redefining every single category? Points, rebounds, assists, right before our eyes. The numbers alone seem impossible. A monster triple-double featuring 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists that left the entire league gasping in disbelief. Yet the most astonishing part is how nonchalantly Nikola Jokić seems to pull it all off. Game after game, he shatters assumptions about what a center can do, raising questions that no other big man in the sport's history has ever had to answer. If you think you've seen dominant players before, brace yourself, because what he's doing is a glimpse into basketball's future, one that's unfolding right now. But there's more to this story than numbers. There are quiet controversies, speculations, and behind-the-scenes debates that shape the narrative around Jokić. Some call him the most underrated superstar alive. Others claim the media glosses over his feats because he's not in the flashiest market. Conspiracy theories even pop up that his stats are too good to be real. Regardless of which angle you look at, one truth is unmistakable. You're about to discover a level of dominance the NBA's never witnessed. Let's peel back the layers and see why his triple-double heroics are merely the tip of the iceberg. From the moment the box score hit social media, fans couldn't believe their eyes. 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists, all delivered by a 7-footer who moves like a chess grandmaster. When you see a triple-double, it's normal to applaud, but a 30-20-20 night elevates the conversation into a new realm of basketball greatness. The eye test shows a towering figure orchestrating his team's offense as if he's a point guard. The stat sheet reads like something from a video game's fantasy mode, and the league's record books suddenly look incomplete next to his name because nothing quite like this has happened before. Historically, other legendary big men have come close to what we might call all-around brilliance. Names like Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Hakeem Olajuwon come to mind. Yet the notion of a center posting double-digit assists at this volume seems off the charts. It's not just that Jokić reached 20 assists in a game. He did so while scoring and rebounding at levels that overshadow even some of the greatest point guards. Usually, a triple-double indicates a player can do many things well, but a 30-20-20 line is an outright statement. I can control absolutely everything. Here's the part that's even more eerie. He did it without appearing stressed or rushed. Some players need to dominate the ball for 40+ minutes to accumulate such stats. In Jokic's case, he hits these numbers in a flow so seamless it baffles both fans and analysts. He's not leaping from the free throw line or crossing over like a sprinter. His game is all about positioning, anticipation, and next level vision. If you think you've seen it all, imagine a 6'11 center flipping half-court passes on a dime and drilling pinpoint passes in traffic as though the lane were wide open. That's the standard he's set, so high it feels borderline make-believe. Wonder the internet buzzed with disbelief. Is this real? People asked. Yes, it's real, and yes, it may only be the beginning. A 30-20-20 game almost sounds like the apex of basketball stats. But for Jokić, it's apparently just another night at the office. Despite the jaw-dropping numbers, not everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Some critics whisper that he's overhyped because box scores can be misleading. Others insist that the league's officiating quietly favors him, allowing more leeway in the paint. Then there are the more peculiar rumors, claims that his approach to the game is so measured it feels robotic, as though no human could truly see passing angles that quickly. In certain corners of the basketball world, you'll hear old school fans complain, he doesn't play with enough flash, or he's not athletic enough to be considered the best. They question whether his style, relying on timing and IQ, is soft compared to what a traditional big man should do. Ironically, these criticisms happen even though he's reshaping what traditional big man means. There's also lingering speculation that the media doesn't give him the spotlight he deserves. Perhaps because he's not based in a massive market like Los Angeles or New York. When smaller market players rack up stats, skeptics sometimes chalk it up to the team's entire offense funneling through them. Yet watch a single Nuggets game, and you'll see that Jokić isn't forcing anything. He scores by necessity and assists when it's the better choice. The offense hums through him because he's naturally the focal point. A few fans even push a borderline conspiracy theory that the entire NBA has grown comfortable focusing on star guards and wings, letting Jokic's nightly masterpieces slip under the radar. Whether you agree or not, the controversies swirl, adding spice to the conversation. Every time he posts another line that seems inconceivable, the voices voices questioning its authenticity get louder. But here's the funny thing, as soon as you watch the game footage, it's obvious he isn't padding numbers. He's orchestrating possessions like a master conductor. If you're the kind of fan who loves advanced metrics, buckle up. Every time a new data model or analytic tool emerges, Jokić breaks it. Traditional stats like points, rebounds, and assists only scratch the surface of how he changes a game. Look at his on-off rating, for instance. When he's on the court, the Nuggets' net rating soars to levels that make them look like championship favorites. But when he's off, the offense sputters. That gap is the definition of value usage rate. He's near the top of the league, yet his efficiency stays sky high. Offensive plus minus. He sits in the 100th percentile, meaning no one else even approaches his brand of all-encompassing influence. His passer rating competes with what you'd see from elite point guards, and his rebounding percentages indicate he's among the best big men in the league. Usually players specialize, some focus on crashing the boards, others on slashing, or three-point shooting. Jokić is the outlier who dips his hand into every category, leaving behind something that feels like basketball magic. Even more remarkable is how he creates easy shots for teammates. The advanced numbers tracking scoring opportunities created put him at the top, effectively stating that nobody else sets up teammates better. Then there's his turnover rate. A typical high-usage player racks up mistakes simply because they handle the ball more. Jokic's turnovers remain surprisingly low given how much time the ball spends in his hands. Watch him play and you'll see passes thread through multiple defenders, land in the perfect spot, and lead to a layup or open jumper. It's one thing to see a point guard do this, it's another thing entirely to see a near 7-footer do it, while also leading the team in rebounding and posting an efficient 25+ points. For those who think advanced metrics are mere abstractions, remember that the scoreboard never lies. When he's in the game, his team is better, period. Turn to any measure you like, plus minus, net rating, team assist percentage, and you'll see his fingerprints all over it. Success on this scale naturally invites rivalry. Jokic's primary comparisons often point to other superstar bigs, like Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Fans bicker endlessly over who's truly the top dog. MVP debates ignite each season, with voters sometimes caught between narrative arcs and raw data. One year, people say it's about who carried their team the farthest. The next, it's about the best all-around impact. Whichever angle emerges, Jokic's name remains firmly in the conversation, yet odd controversies arise. There was chatter in certain fan circles that awarding him multiple MVPs might be boring, as though excellence could get stale. Some wanted a fresh face or insisted another player deserved recognition for intangible reasons, like fan appeal or highlight reels. That overshadowed a crucial point. Jokic's performance is anything but repetitive or dull. On any given night, he'll uncork a behind-the-back pass through a double team or tip in a rebound at the exact moment it seems lost. He's a walking highlight reel, only his highlights look different from the typical thunderous dunks or ankle-breaking crossovers. Then there's the MVP fatigue theory. He's won it too many times. Let's give it to someone else. In the realm of narratives, that kind of talk can overshadow objective data. Journalists, fans, and even coaches sometimes gravitate toward novelty or underdog stories. Meanwhile, Jokić just keeps stacking triple-doubles that are borderline absurd. The result is a bizarre dissonance. Certain experts declare he's the best player in the world, while casual fans argue he's not exciting enough. That back and forth fuels endless media speculation, with every new 30-20-20 game acting as a rhetorical hammer, pounding away at any doubts. Behind all the numbers are real human stories, minor injuries, potential conditioning issues, or the physical toll of doing so much for the team. Early in his career, whispers emerged about him being out of shape. People latched onto images of him looking winded during certain playoff runs, questioning whether he could handle 40+ minutes of intense basketball. While some wrote him off, others argued it was a matter of time before he adapted and overcame. As the years went by, those concerns seemed to vanish into thin air, replaced by awe at how he started dominating entire games without skipping a beat. Yet every so often, you hear hints of frustration about the huge load he carries. Teammates step up, but make no mistake, when Jokić rests, the Nuggets often struggle to maintain the same level of performance. That kind of responsibility can wear on any player physically and mentally. Some suspect the stress has led to minor rifts behind closed doors, though nothing has ever been officially confirmed. The front office tries to build the roster around him, but there's always the question of how sustainable it is to have one player who essentially does everything. Sprinkle in the normal wear and tear that every NBA player faces, and you begin to see the vulnerabilities behind this unstoppable force. There might be nights when a sore knee or twisted ankle could hamper his mobility, but he still puts up near triple doubles. Observers marvel at how little these minor setbacks seem to affect his game. Others wonder if he's just one unlucky moment away from being sidelined. The precarious nature of professional sports means every day is a gamble, and fans hold their breath whenever he grimaces after a hard fall. Despite these concerns, he keeps powering through. Every athlete endures some adversity, but it's rare to see someone maintain such consistency while carrying this magnitude of team responsibility. So if you ever think that Jokić is purely on cruise control, consider the possibility that he's quietly pushing through pains and pressures we don't fully see. It's part of what makes his dominance all the more astonishing. Basketball used to revolve around specialized roles. The big man protected the paint, the guard ran the offense, and the forward did a little bit of both. But the sport has evolved, and Jokić embodies that evolution. Standing tall with a frame that suggests a bruiser in the paint, he operates more like a creative guard. His game blends old-school fundamentals with new-school versatility, offering a blueprint for future generations of international players. As a Serbian-born star, he carries a certain mystique. Fans recall the European greats who paved the way, like Arvydas Sabonis or Dirk Nowitzki, yet Jokić seems like the next step in the progression. He's not simply a stretch big who shoots from outside. He's essentially the team's point center, making passes nobody expects. If you watch basketball clinics overseas, you'll notice coaches start to show kids footage of Jokic's passing. They teach them how footwork and timing can trump raw athleticism. His success resonates globally, offering hope that skill, patience, and IQ can overcome the typical obstacles faced by non-American players entering the NBA. This international flair also brings its own pressures. Sometimes there's a sense that European players aren't marketed as heavily in the US, which fuels further talk of him being underrated. Yet every time he drops another triple-double or breaks another record, that conversation about underrepresentation evolves. More people tune in, eager to see the Serbian wizard do what's not supposed to be possible. From Belgrade gyms to downtown Denver arenas, his brand of basketball changes the game. Teams across the world watch highlight reels of him passing, out of double teams, or lobbing half-court dimes that defy geometry. That's the global ripple effect, a new wave of players who believe a center can lead the league in assists if they master the fundamentals. It's not just a personal triumph. It's a cultural shift, hinting at how the game might look a decade from now. Just when you think you've seen his finest work, Jokić raises the bar again. One night, he sets the record for fastest triple-double in only 20 minutes. Another, he hits a game-winning floater from an impossible angle. Then he strings together a month averaging close to 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists, leaving fans numb to how extraordinary that is. The repeated nature of these achievements can lull people into treating them as routine, when in fact they're anything but amateurs. This phenomenon leads to a strange paradox. His brilliance becomes so normal that it stops feeling special. Announcers rattle off lines like, "He's got 28, 14, 12 tonight," and it barely raises eyebrows. Only when you pause to think about how seldom 28, 14, 12 has occurred in league history do you realize the absurdity of his nightly output. If an up-and-coming player had one such game, it would be the headline of their career. For Jokić, it's part of a consistent stat sheet. There's also increasing chatter about what's next. Could he be one of the best centers ever, joining names like Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Tim Duncan, though Duncan was more of a forward-center hybrid? Is he going to collect multiple MVP trophies and maybe even an NBA championship or two? The suspense around his future achievements keeps the hype engine roaring. Fans wonder if we've only seen the start of what he's capable of. Each game feels like a puzzle piece, revealing glimpses of a near mythical ceiling. Through it all, the shock factor never entirely disappears. Whether it's fans flipping out on social media, coaches shaking their heads in disbelief, or analysts scrambling to find new adjectives, his performances keep surprising people. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos.